Hi everybody, my name is Debbie, and after a year and a half of the worst time in my life, I'm here looking for my dream life. And this is how real people look without filters and the stress of everyday life. The last 18 months has been the worst year of my family's life. Firstly, I was diagnosed with kidney cancer, which then went into the spleen. I've had it all removed, and after a year of updates and everything, I've been given the all clear. But halfway through that, my eldest son, Shane, got taken into hospital with a problem with his diabetes, and within 48 hours, he'd caught COVID. And the next 4 months was just a living nightmare. He went from being an ex-soldier. He'd worked in all the hospitals doing the pipe fitting and never caught COVID. But when he went into hospital for his diabetes, he contracted it within 48 hours. And within the next 48 hours, we'd gone from a ward to life support in a hospital. They told us they could do no more for him, so they then transferred him up to Papworth Hospital, where he spent the next 3.5 months in ICU on an ECMO machine. He had a tracheotomy. He's lost over 10 stone in weight, and it's just been a living nightmare. But thank whatever God that you pray to, he's pulled through. He's now home, but he does have long COVID, and his life is going to change dramatically. And this is what this project is all about. Life is for living. So for the last 6 months, trying to find my little piece of England through estate agents and travelling up and down from Essex to the Cambridgeshire area, viewing properties that we liked. It had to have a minimum of 1 acre of land, which is my first priority, as you will find out as we will go through this journey together. Why? Here's a little hint. I'm a great animal lover, and there is lots of animals out there that need to be saved. I found a few properties only to be told that we have had an offer already on it. That's after me travelling up there and viewing it and placing an offer. Or it's already sold. My argument is, why is it still being advertised, and why you're still having to travel up to look at these properties? So that just wasn't happening for us, and it was very disheartening. And I just thought, well, shall we just go and buy a townhouse and live in that, have it all done, ready, no worries. But as you'll find out, that was not going to really happening for us. It wasn't an option, because I already have 3 dogs, 2 little terriers, which are brother and sister. That's Ralphie and Pickle. They are cross Jack Russells, and they are my ratters. And I also have Hank. He's a dog de Bordeaux who hasn't actually realised that he has grown into a big dog and weighs 10 stone, as he still likes to sit on your lap, especially after he's had a swim. Also, I've got 2 bantam cockerels, Ant and Dec, who love to attack everybody but me. It's nothing to hear someone stuck in the garden shouting for help behind 2 tiny 2-pound cockerels. And they do love to crow between 4 and 5 o'clock in the morning. So this is why I'm looking for my own little bit of England, because not a lot of neighbours are going to be putting up with that. Then there is Bert. He's a male Aylesbury, he was a school project hatch, which in my opinion, it's only my opinion, so don't be offended if this is what you do. He was a school project, so the children could learn about where their eggs, their chickens and their food come from. But being a boy, he wasn't wanted after, so I took him in. Now, I don't believe any animal should live on its own, so Bert needed some wives, any old excuse. And he needs lots of wives. So when I got him, I then took in Betty. She's got a deformed leg, so she's really not up to the romance from Bert, but she will occasionally. She's up for a quick thank you man bam, but once a week is just enough for her. So obviously I had to get him another wife, of course. So I got Harriet, who needed rehoming. She was 9 months old, and her hormones are on the same level as Bert's, so they get on all right. But being a male, he needs more. Of course he does. So we rehomed Wendy, who is actually another breed. I'm not sure what breed she is, and she's not Bert's favourite to have a liaison with. But when the urge takes him and the other two are not up for a bit of hanky-panky, he will compromise. Then we have the chickens. We have a chicken in a basket. She was my first chicken that I had, and she was an ex-battery hen. She's 12 years old now. She's had 2 strokes. She doesn't lay eggs anymore, but when she turned up to us, she had no feathers except a few in her tail and a few wing feathers. She's had 2 strokes and she's partially blind. It took 2 years of rehabilitation with a bit of stroller exercise to open her feet because they completely shut down. But she's out in the garden now with the rest of them, but she does like to come in at night and sleep in her own basket. So once she was up and running, we then rehomed Snowdrop. She's a white chicken, and she's just a food addict. She's just into everything. Then I rehomed Fluffy Butt. Her name explains it all. And then we have Vera. She's only young, 9 months old, and she's very much into humans. She's out there, and if you're out there, she's out there next to you. Then we have George, the African grey parrot. I'll introduce him to you at a later date, but here's my companion. We have breakfast together and we hold full-blown conversations together. And I also have 2 lodgers, occasional lodgers I should say. There's Rihanna, she's the tortoiseshell cat. She was my son I was telling you about, cat who had the COVID. While he was in the coma, she come to stay with us and she settled in quite well, and now he's telling us we're not allowed to keep her. He wants her back when he's totally rehabilitated. So I can see I'm going to need to go out and rehome a couple more cats. And then we have Susie, who's known as Doody. She's totally deaf, so her name doesn't really matter. My mum rescued her. My mum is 85. It was one of the neighbours in sheltered accommodation who died, and she needed a home rather than go to kennels. So my mum took her in. But she is so fat, she comes here for boot camp. She's obviously been fed treat after treat, will eat a whole packet of sausages to herself. So she comes here 3 days a week for her exercise. So once we've got all these, you can see that a townhouse really isn't an option for us because there is no way I would give any of my animals up. Once I've rescued them, they have a forever home forever. So recently we have come across for sale by auction my dream plot. It's 2.5 acres and a bungalow. It has stables on it that do everything needs repairing. It's not mine yet, so I cannot show you any pictures of it, but hopefully shortly. We've put a bid in. And the auction shuts at Tuesday at 1 o'clock. So we're all on tender hooks at the moment. Our bid is the highest, but we're just waiting for that 1 o'clock on Tuesday for the gavel to go down, and then it's us. Then once it's ours, I'm sure there's going to be massive ups, massive downs, wondering what the fuck I've bought. But I'm hoping that this dream home, with you following us, your opinions, telling me what I'm doing wrong and what I'm doing right, I'm sure we will get there, and I'm going to own my own little piece of England with all my animals. So this will be no filters. It's just me and my family as we go on this journey. I hope you will follow us. You can either take us or leave us, but I'm determined to get there with me, my husband, my sons, and all my animals. I do hope you'll follow this journey with us.